And welcome back to the channel. Yeah, today's video is going to be a little bit different. As you see, I got all the machines turned on, but today's video is not even going to be about pinball. It's actually going to be about a question I had, something here in the room that some of y'all have seen. I'm actually going to talk about these guys today. So yeah, these two arcade cabinets are worth talking about because this is really where the pinball hobby kind of all started for me, really. In a roundabout way, it's with these guys because I'll back up even further. As you might know, I used to be in the Air Force. I did a career in the Air Force, and I used to live in Nebraska, and I built a cocktail-style arcade cabinet somewhere around 2003 or 2004. And this thing it was running on a computer at the time. It actually had a CRT computer monitor in it. I had controls on all four sides. And then later, I rebuilt the thing. I painted it black. I stripped the controls off of two sides of it. And I put the 18-inch LCD in it. And I finally converted it to a Raspberry Pi, which ran a lot more reliably because the computer would give me constant problems. But anyway, if you fast forward a number of years, then I moved to Germany, still in the military, and I wanted to get back into emulation and arcade playing, but I didn't really want to deal with the monitor, the face down orientation. So I wanted to build a Bartop, right? So I wanted to build a Bartop arcade cabinet and run on RetroPie and Raspberry Pi. So this is what I built. And my son and I had a blast with this thing. We'd play it together, and we didn't have any pinball machines at the time. This is all we had, that and the cocktail style cabinet, which I wasn't really playing a whole lot. Well, it didn't take long, and maybe I wanted different controls. So I took the old trackball that I had in that cocktail cabinet way back in the day, and I built another Bartop cabinet that was modeled after Centipede, right? And this artwork here, created the artwork myself. The marquee I ended up buying, but the side art and the control panel art and all that, I put it together from, some artwork I found online. And that one machine kind of turned into another, and then I wanted to build like a Donkey Kong, like what you see here that I have in front of me. Now I built, all in all, I think I built 13 of these Bartop arcade cabinets. And I built them in many different styles. I built the Donkey Kong style you see here with the bezel artwork, and I did all this artwork myself, right? These I ended up buying online, but the bezel artwork, the control panel artwork, I was able to put that together myself. I found the graphic online and had my printer in the Netherlands print that out for me. But I built like 3 or 4 of this style, and then I built this two control landscape version, right? Two controls side by side. This one here is portrait. It's vertical. It's landscape. After I built this one, then I built a couple more. I built some that were modeled after Burger Time. I built a couple that were modeled after Q*bert. One, I think, oh my gosh, I'm trying to remember. A couple that were Pac-Man, a couple that were Galaga, but they all pretty much had the same thing in common with these, where they ran on a Raspberry Pi. And they had cheap monitors that I was picking up for like $5 or $6 at the thrift stores. And then, some Sanua 8-way joysticks here, simple arcade buttons. And yeah, put all these together. And the arcade cabinets that I had, I sold a couple of them. Actually, no, I take that back. I traded 2 of them like this for high speed. And that was the first machine I got. And I got it from an operator, and I traded him 2 of these arcade cabinets for it. So I only have a couple $100 into those cabinets, so it was a pretty good deal to get a pinball machine for that. And at the time, the high speed needed a lot of work, but that's what got me into pinball, was these things, So as the time went on, I wanted another pinball machine, right? So all the arcade cabinets I had, I started selling them to my friends and people that heard that I was building these things. And I used the money from the sale of all those other cabinets, and then I bought the second machine, which is Pinbot. Not Radical. I was pointing at Radical, but it's Pinbot. Okay, so yeah, and that's where it all started. And then from there, the pinball hobby really took hold. And I've kept these things, and I didn't want to sell these two. I wanted to keep these two because they were some of the first two I made, and I do really like the style. They're made out of, I guess it's about 12 millimeter MDF. Now that was a mistake making them out of MDF, because you can see that the top of this one is kind of sagging a little bit. I need to go in here and like try to prop this back up and probably fill this in, maybe paint this again. But yeah, this is 12 millimeter. I think this T molding is, what is this? Is this half? I think it's somewhere like that. What else? Yeah, the artwork on both of these I put together myself, just from graphics that I found on the internet. And I'll show you inside these things here in a second. I believe these have 15-inch LCD monitors, and I think this one is a 17-inch. It's a yeah, I think it's a, yeah, these are 15s, and I think that's a 17. And you know, the profile, they're the same exact profile. I just basically took, like, you know, the full size side profile, and then I just shrunk it down to this to the proportions that I needed, right? And that's how I came up with it. And you know, the width here, you know, I can get a scale and take some measurements if somebody's interested, but you know, they're not too hard to build. And with a Raspberry Pi and a cheap monitor and some controls and some interfaces, you probably have about $200 and some into each one, you know. I'll do a little demonstration here. So the important thing that I wanted, kind of similar to how the Cuphead was, you know, when you turn the Cuphead on, it goes right into Cuphead. There's no fooling around with menus. The same thing over here. I did not want this thing, right? I'll turn them off now. Turn them both off. And I'll show you. So we're gonna turn them off, and we're gonna turn them back on. Okay. We're gonna let them boot up. You know, Raspberry Pi takes, you know, 30 seconds, 45 seconds to boot up. But, you know, I wanted to come down and be able to turn the arcade on, turn these things on, and not have to fool with anything. I didn't want to go in any menus. I didn't want to have to start it manually. I just wanted the thing to boot into the game. And it is possible to do it in RetroPie. There's a couple different steps, a couple different things you have to do. You have to go into the code, and you have to put some lines of code in there to get it to load the thing. And then also I get rid of the splash screens. The splash screens, I've replaced them with like black images so you don't see anything. So the first thing you'll see is like this monitor has a icon that comes up, but you turn them on, about 45 seconds later, they'll boot right into the game. And yeah, and you go from there. There you go. There's the Mario Brothers and the Donkey Kong. So got your coin button here. Oh no, there we go. Yeah, coin. It's gonna make a liar out of me. And for some reason the sound on Donkey Kong isn't on. Maybe I turned it down. What did I do? Something's up with the sound on DK. Huh, we'll have to look at that. You know, we started the game here. Let me turn this light off. And no sound on Donkey Kong. I don't know what's going on there. Mario Brothers. There you go. Yeah, I mean, it's Mario Brothers, right? So it works just as you would expect it. Over here, you know, Donkey Kong. You know, I don't know why I don't have sound. It's kind of funny, but it gives me something to look at. I think I had this before. I want to say something's turned off or unplugged. I'll have to look into that. And then, you know, we can hold down player 1, press player 2, and it'll go back to our emulation station here, and then we can select another game. We'll do the thing here, same thing, and you know, we can select other games. So let me pull these away from the wall, and I'll go get a tape measure. I'll make some quick measurements for you guys if you're interested, and then we'll check out the insides. But I'm going to be honest with you, they're not really that spectacular. If you've seen the video on the Cuphead, I'm much more proud of that, how that all turned out. All right, I'll take some quick measurements for somebody who's interested, and this is going to be in metric. I'm not doing the inches. So the small one is 385 millimeters wide, 38.5 centimeters wide. And the Mario Brothers cabinet is 46 centimeters wide. And, you know, just, you could use this measurement to get the, you know, if you wanted to copy the profile. These, the profile, it's 71.5 centimeters tall from the bottom there. And then on the bottom, I just have some little rubber feet that pick it up off the table. So yeah, that's your basic dimensions. And then from there, once you have the side profile, then you should be able to figure everything else out. So yeah, let's look at the insides of these things. Like I said, it's nothing too spectacular. These were slapped together from what I had laying around. And, you know, each one is a little bit different from the rest. So what was I doing here? Let me get my light set up. So what do we got? We got a monitor that's been taken out of its case and it's mounted up here with the power supply board for that. Here's kind of the video. Oh, that little heat sink's coming off that thing. This is like the interface board, the video interface board from VGA, right? It's got a VGA cable, HDMI adapter to the VGA to the Raspberry Pi. It's Raspberry Pi 3B, what I'm using on these. It's what I had at the time. Let's see what else we got. We got power supply here for the monitor. Couple wall warts here giving us power for speakers. I took some computer speakers. I got, you know, a cheap set of computer speakers either from, I wasn't getting them from Amazon at the time. I was buying them at the local thrift store. So I probably only paid like $3. Take an old set of computer speakers, take the speaker out of its case, take the little amplifier thing out. And I mean, you don't have to do that. It's just the way I did it. Interface board, let's see. How did I do that? Yeah. Okay, the interface boards are kind of hard to see. It's sitting right here in front of the buttons. Right? This is the bottom side of the buttons that you have here, and then this is the Sanwa 8-way joystick that I have here. And then these interface boards, you can get them on Amazon now for like $10 for two of them, $11 for two of them. This is a coin button here, right? So all of those are have a USB interface, and then they go to your Raspberry Pi. So you do that, and then you've got, and this is the monitor control for adjusting the monitor if you ever have to, which once you get it set up, you don't really have to. There's another button panel set back here, and I use this to get into the menus. That way the buttons aren't on the front and somebody doesn't accidentally get into the menu on the thing. And you can see the Mario Brothers here was built later, so it's a little bit cleaner. But it's basically the same setup, other than, we lost our light here. Let's put that up there. Yeah, basically the same setup, except here we have two controller interfaces, and these are sitting on some 3D printed mounts I guess I made at some point. You know, same Raspberry Pi 3B. Everything else is all the same. It's a monitor that, again, was pulled out of the plastic case and mounted with this kind of similar setup that I used at the Cuphead. And here's your sound, and that's your monitor control board, and, you know, and same button interface I have here to get into the menus. The marquee lights are running 12 volts. I think they're 12 volts, which comes down to one of these wall warts here, giving 12 volts for the marquee lights. So that is the situation with both of those cabinets. Yeah, I don't know. If you guys are into pinball, this might be pretty boring for you, and I just wanted to make a quick video and talk about these things and talk about Bartops in general and emulation. You know, primarily my love is with pinball now. I do have a couple of arcade games. I have a Time Pilot, and I have a pole position back in the States. You know, I'm going to get those running, and I'm going to put them in my arcade. But primarily, you know, my passion is now with pinball, and I don't see that changing. Arcade games are great, and you know, if you're going to have a big collection, I've got everything turned back off now just to quiet it down a little bit in here. But you know, if you got a big collection and you got some arcade games, you know, some people aren't into pinball, so it is nice to have different things, you know, to bring people in and give them something else to enjoy. So yeah, throw one of those together, put it in your collection, and you know, of course, nowadays you can buy these arcade one-ups, and they do a similar job, you know, and nobody else is going to know the difference, you know, between a homemade one and the one you can get at Walmart. But yeah, I built these, and eventually they'll be on a better table than I've got going on here. You know, we get everything back to the States eventually. So there you are. Thanks for checking it out, checking out the channel. Let's put up, I don't know, we'll turn Contra on over here, and over here we'll do Burger Time. So it's one of my favorite games. Yeah. And there you go. Thanks for watching. Thanks for checking out the channel. Hopefully in the next video I'm going to run through the next game in the collection, which I believe is going to be F-14. So stay tuned for that. Take it easy.